Welcome back to the Racing Insiders, the best show in sports car racing anywhere. Here on MAVTV, I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles, and this week we've got a special trip for Jim Daniels, who is at the Circuit of the Americas racetrack in Austin, Texas. Jim, there's noise, there's crowds, there's cars. What's up there in Austin?
Well, it's a beautiful day. It's a little warm. It's setting record heat down here in Austin, but we got the V8 Supercars. We got the Pirelli World Challenge Series. A lot of action here at COTA. Can't wait to get to it. Bill?
And we've got Peter Keene in Cocoa Beach, Florida. It's quiet there, Peter, but still a lot of racing going on anywhere you are.
Yeah, I guess I got to draw the short straw this week, Bill. I mean, Jim's the Hollywood hero out there in COTA, and I'm sitting here in Cocoa Beach. At least the weather's good.
The weather's always good in Cocoa Beach, just like Los Angeles. On the show this week from Circuit of the Americas, we've got V8 Supercars, Todd and Rick Kelly, who are going to tell us a little bit about what's going on with the cars and the advantage they might have on the racetrack there, the tight circuit there at Circuit of the Americas. We've also got World Challenge. We've got several interviews with drivers who have won championships and races in World Challenge. And of course, we've got Are You Kidding Me? The stuff that's bumping around in our heads. Are You Kidding Me? That's coming up later. Right now, we're going to talk about V8 Supercars from Australia, making their first trip here to the United States, Circuit of the Americas, one of the great tracks here in the world, right there in Austin, Texas. That's where Jim Daniels is. Jim, give us some more about what's going on, the impact of these cars. I think they're great racing.
Oh, they're beautiful. It's like having 40, 50 Daytona prototype quality teams on the grid, or LMS teams on the grid. I'm hearing a lot of mates, mate this and mate that everywhere, but these are a bunch of nice guys. I had the opportunity, being Jim Daniels, I had to stop in at the Jack Daniels crew of the Nissans over there, the Kelly brothers, and they went out. They were pretty quick in the show, and they look promising, even though they're complaining about some horsepower. But you got to see the quality of the build of these cars. It's unbelievable, and the shock lengths on them. I now understand why they can jump the curbs. The shock lengths on them is just something that I haven't never seen. They're beautiful, GT Trans Am quality cars, and with a little extra at it. Well organized teams, just impeccable pit areas and garages, and they put these fancy curbs up around here that wasn't here in the majors race that we did a while back, and to try to keep those guys in check. The outlap before they got on start finish, they had the inside unloaded tires 3 feet in the air, jumping all those new curbs on the outlap. It was pretty spectacular. Peter, you're aware of the technical side of this. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm envious of you being out there, Jim. It kind of upsets me that a little bit, but yeah, no, I can tell you're going to see a great show with those V8 Supercars. Everybody wants to tie them to, like the NASCAR of Australia, but it's different. Those cars are more technical, a little wider wheel, sequential gearbox, and, fully programmable engine management. So, I mean, they are cool cars. And I'm glad you said that about the shocks, because that's one of the things that always amazed me of watching those V8 Supercars is how well they have, how much control they have over the shock package bouncing over those curves. It's incredible. I mean, I didn't know if it was a spec shock or whatever, but every one of those teams has that shock package down. I mean, it's phenomenal to watch. Bill?
Yeah, and Peter, and you got to hear these things, Peter. They sound like the old Morgan McClure Daytona cars that Sterling Marlin won with a bunch. They whine. They almost sound like a D Sports racer. Is that some kind of collector on the header, or what? I haven't looked at them up close.
Well, they probably got some kind of diversion header going on a crossover tube or something. I mean, yeah, that's just exhaust tuning. That's being the Wild West and finding horsepower, I'm sure.
We did compare a little bit with American racing, especially stock car, NASCAR. Marcus Ambrose came from V8 Supercars. Now he's running in Sprint Cup. The big name in the series is Jamie Whincup. He has won, 10 races in 2011 and a championship, 12 races in 2012 and a championship, leads the points again this year. He's got a good thing going with his teammate, Craig Lowndes. They share engineering information, so they have kind of, it's not quite team orders, but at least they work as a team, and it's really helped them. Lowndes is third in points. So maybe some of that could go into American racing instead of saying that we are against them across the garage. maybe if they shared a little more information, they might be a little faster. Jamie Whincup is the guy in V8 Supercars.
And
Coming
Bill,
up,
let me add one thing to that, Bill. And we're talking about those two gentlemen. Just reminded me, either we have a lot of new female American fans, or they brought some with them, because those two young men, their garage is packed.
Yeah, I've talked several times with Jamie Whincup. He's a cool guy. He and his lady, to get away, they get on their personal watercraft and go out in the ocean and or on rivers or lakes. That's what he likes to do, to get away and have fun in what their off season is summer at Christmas time. It's summertime for them, so that they can go out and have a good time. He really loves that. And we've laughed about that quite a bit, how Christmas is snow here and summertime there in Australia. Coming up later in the Racing Insiders, we're going to be talking with the Kelly brothers, Todd and Rick, who are with the Nissan program, a new program in V8 Supercars. They had a big impact on the racing at Circuit of the Americas this week. We've also got something with World Challenge. We've got several interviews that you'll be able to hear. That's come back from nothing almost to be one of the great series here in the United States. And are you kidding me? What's bumping around in our heads? That's all next on the Racing Insiders. We'll be right back.
Let us know what you think about what the Racing Insiders have to say. Tell us on Facebook and Twitter. Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Jim Daniels is at Circuit of the Americas. Peter Keene is in Cocoa Beach, Florida. We've got more coming from the V8 Supercars. It's a dynamic series. New manufacturers are on board, Mercedes and Nissan. We've talked with the Nissan team, Todd and Rick Kelly, who are getting everything worked out to get their cars up to speed. They like seeing Circuit of the Americas come up at this point early in the V8 Supercar season.
Really well, and that's no doubt that that's probably one of our strongest components at the moment. And it's pretty, we take a bit of pride with that we got our cars handling really well, and and that's particularly at a track like this layout, it could make for some pretty good results. So we're looking forward to getting over to Texas and actually racing in front of some real hardcore motor racing fans as well that they have over here, and it should be a good weekend.
The circuit, I think it's pretty good for us with where we're at right now with the Jack Daniels cars. It's got a lot of corners, which suits us quite well, and the format's exciting as well. We saw in Perth the pit stops come back into the racing, and certainly makes it a lot more exciting, and really it gives us another area to capitalise on to try and catch our opponents. So looking forward to the whole weekend. It's like I say, it's a dream come true to race over here in North America, and the format should suit us.
All right, Todd and Rick Kelly, the Nissan team in V8 Supercars. Jim, you are there at Circuit of the Americas. How did all that talk amount to speed on the racetrack?
Well, I went over there looking for free samples, and all I could do is talk about racing. And those guys have neat Australian accents, but to read through all of that, Bill, what I got from it is there's just like every other racer. I need more horsepower, but my car handles great, and my sponsors are great, and my manufacturer of my car is great. They're a neat bunch. They look really good early in the weekend, and I just think that they probably do need some power if you kind of watch the split times out there. But we'll see how it works out. But the interesting part is they bring that Nissan back into the series, and you got another manufacturer come into the series. Peter, you're aware of that.
Yeah, no, it's great to see new manufacturers. It's V8 Supercars. I mean, back when Spirit of Daytona developed the new Porsche V8, we know how new programs can be, troubling and trying at times. And, it's a developing curve. So it's great to see that they're getting the Nissans up to pace, and they're at the pointy end of the field. And that program looks like it's moving forward. I know by the time the end of our Porsche program, those were the hottest motors in Grand Am. It's too bad somebody doesn't still run those. But great to see new manufacturers and close competition there in the V8 Supercars. Bill?
Yeah, that's a good point, Peter. Manufacturers come in kind of slowly. They have to get all the corporation minds going in the same direction. Nissan is not known for taking their time and getting things up to speed. They should be well in the V8 Supercars. Did well in GT1 and FIA a couple of years ago, won a championship. They should do well in V8 Supercars as the season progresses. That's from the V8 Supercar paddock. We're going to the World Challenge paddock next. We've got interviews with some of the fastest guys in World Challenge, points leaders and race winners in GT and GTS. World Challenge at COTA. We'll be right back. This is the Racing Insiders on MAVTV.
This segment of the Racing Insiders was brought to you by GoRacingTV.com. For racers, by racers. Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. We've got Peter Keene in Cocoa Beach, Florida. We had Jim Daniels at Circuit of the Americas this past weekend. In fact, we're going to get to one of his interviews right now with James Sofronas, the World Challenge points leader, race winner on Sunday. He was backing up wins that he got in St. Pete and Long Beach. Here's James Sofronas, World Challenge points leader, with Jim Daniels.
And the Audis are strong cars over the long run, but you're going to have to pace yourself, pace the car, pace the tires. So I think strategy is going to come into play. But we're ready. The guys are, working tirelessly. The GMG Audis are prepped 100%, and we just need to give it our all. But, our pre-race debrief was basically be patient, be conservative, watch your gauges, watch your tires, manage the traffic, stay in clean air, everything that has to do with hot driving conditions.
You got a couple of wins on the season, not dominating from the front though. Does a car need some help for the speed? Do you think you're okay? Talk a little bit about your performance.
Well, funny you should say. They actually thought we were very fast, so we're running with 100 extra pounds here. So, it is what it is. I think at this point we just have to take the weight and then deal with it. I think the guys have done a good job. We certainly haven't been dominating, but the car has its strengths, it has its weaknesses, and we've been really testing and preparing to make this car very strong. So we've been working to get to this point.
Well, the other question we have, and this comes from a lot of the fans, is what is Audi's involvement in the team, and are you considered a factory Audi team now? Explain that relationship to us.
Sure. Audi Sport Customer Racing is the customer management program that Audi of America contracts to support teams like us who race Audis here in the U.S. They've done a phenomenal job. Brad Kettler and his group are great. The big 18-wheeler with parts support, their trucks are here to support us. They've been great with engineering. So they're a big part of it. We're not a factory team, but we are supported by the factory. And they've done a great job and have helped work with GMG to really get us to the front.
All right, Peter, that's James Sofronas, our World Challenge points leader, race winner on Sunday. What do you think about what he had to say about the success that he had, especially the help that he's getting or not getting from the Audi team?
Well, Bill, I think the Audi situation in Grand Am's the same thing. Obviously, James's Audi R8 is very strong in World Challenge. They've had a few victories, and that's a very strong effort. What impressed me this weekend is I guess Cadillac decided there'd be a big enough crowd at Circuit of the Americas, so they stepped up their game, and those two Cadillacs were up front all weekend. And also Pope seemed to get the ship righted, and he ran his Volvo up front. So, the strong programs are coming to the front.
You're right, Peter. I like what Cadillac did. They were complaining after St. Pete that they were like 5th or 6th fastest in the paddock. They had a win basically guaranteed at Long Beach before weirdness with the engine blew up. Johnny O'Connell won Saturday at Circuit of the Americas. Pilgrim finished on the podium Sunday, and they had a great weekend. They're getting their problems worked out in World Challenge. Cadillac is going to be a force to be reckoned with as we go forward.
Yeah, also, in the GTS, I guess those Camaros are awful strong because they won both days, and then, Kia's had a podium on Sunday, so, that's That's excellent. So, I mean, at least the Kia program's coming around as well.
Yeah, the guys, the usual suspects are getting back to the front, the sharp end of the field. I like the idea of having teams to beat, although there are new guys that are coming to the front. That's good for World Challenge. In fact, right after this, we're going to hear about one guy that's from World Challenge past. He's looking to get back in the series. He was bumping around the paddock, and Jim Daniels ran into him. We'll talk with him right after this.
Two more fan-related questions. I'll give them to you in both parts. You have any superstitions you got to do before the race? And have you ever missed a race or a session because you couldn't get to the track?
First thing, superstitions is really just count my blessings. You know, we're lucky to be able to do this, and then to have my family here and my kids makes it extra special. So I kind of take a step back and really just, you know, that's my superstition, is basically just be thankful and grateful for what we can do here. And knock on wood, I haven't missed a session, but I've had nightmares when I've shown up to a race and they're like, oh, it's over, James. What are you doing here? And I freak out and wake up in a panic because, you know, I live for this stuff, so to miss an opportunity would be crazy. But
Well, there you have it. James Sofronas has nightmares about not making the grid, but I'm going to tell you his competitors have nightmares because he makes the grid. And I will say that he's a race car driver first. This is Jim Daniels from MAVTV.
This segment was brought to you by the Sports Car Club of America. Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Are you kidding me?
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Peter Keene is in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Jim Daniels was at Circuit of the Americas this past weekend. In fact, his Are You Kidding Me segment was found in the paddock at Circuit of the Americas. Here's Jim Daniels right now.
I was just walking through the paddock and ran into Bobby Archer, one of my childhood heroes. I thought I'd get a few words for our internet segment. What have you been doing? Did you prep shot? What is your racing going on these days?
Actually, I'm kind of in a state of semi-forced retirement, but I'm back here looking for the next opportunity.
That's awesome. Well, we just interviewed Jack Baldwin a little bit earlier, so everybody can make a comeback. So you did Trans Am after the trucks. Tell us about your Trans Am successes.
Well, we had a good time. My brother Tommy and I ran Dodge's Trans Am effort in 92, 93. We got Dodge's first ever win in Trans Am, first ever pole, and then we went on the World Challenge after that. So you know, I'm right at home in this paddock.
Look, you can't get any more inside than running into Bobby Archer at a race.
Wow, Peter, Bobby Archer coming back. That is an Are You Kidding Me? If he could get back in the World Challenge. What's on your mind this week?
Well, Bill, my Are You Kidding Me is the 21-car B-Spec field, or TCB, this weekend at World Challenge at COTA. I mean, some people thought that B-Spec series is dead, but obviously 21 cars strong and great racing out there at COTA. I mean, it looks like Ernie Francis Jr. had the field covered in his Mazda 2, but, you know, there were some big names there and close racing, and, you know, the Minis are strong, the Hondas look decent, so, I mean, I think B-Spec is alive and well, and, you know, after a successful weekend here at COTA. What about you, Bill?
You know, nobody's going to say anything, but that's the guy who helped write the rules for B-Spec. My Are You Kidding Me is at the X Games in Barcelona. Are You Kidding Me? Rally in the Rain is well known all over the world, but they canceled Rallycross in heavy rain and clay track. Not a lot of traction at the X Games in Barcelona. They canceled the event. It's not postponed. It was canceled. We don't know yet what's going to happen with the points picture, whether they're going to do something later on. Strange. People paid their way to go to Barcelona to see the city and to see the racing. They missed out on it. Really tough for Global Rallycross this past weekend. That's what's in our heads, Global Rallycross and B-Spec. Are You Kidding Me? Right after this, the close of the show. This is the Racing Insiders on MAVTV. We'll be right back.
My friends out there asking very unique questions, and one of them is, do you have any superstitions before you race?
You know, I don't have any superstitions. I know a lot of drivers do. Not really too superstitious, as much as I just have kind of a weird little pattern of things I do with my feet and hands whenever I strap into the race car. You watch my onboard and it almost looks like I'm just tapping on the steering wheel, but always getting my fingers, hands, and I have a weird little foot motion I do between the pedals just to get everything, almost just to get my blood pumping a little bit. Just kind of an odd little thing that people always laugh at me about when they watch my onboards.
Well, if you didn't do that, would you think you was going to have bad luck in the race?
You know, maybe. You know, I've never been in a situation where I haven't done it before. It's just one of those weird things that's always ends up popping up when I do it. I don't even kind of think about it anymore. It just kind of happens.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. This coming weekend is Memorial Day weekend, the official start of summer barbecue season. The racing season has been going on. Peter, what do you have going on down there in Cocoa Beach?
Well, last weekend was the offshore powerboat racing here in Cocoa Beach. And, a beautiful weekend, a lot of boats, a lot of people enjoying the beach. And the Geico boat kind of ran away with it, the Unlimited. And the Lucas Oil boat had a little bit of trouble, I think finished third. But it was a great weekend. Great to have those, nice power boats here. It's a whole nother situation when those guys come to town. Big money. How about you, Bill?
Well, I'm going to be enjoying the great open wheel weekend. Not a lot of sports car racing going on, but with Monaco and the Formula One and the Indy 500, NASCAR and the Coke 600, great weekend for racing. It's a time to sit back, put your feet up, and enjoy the TV. We'll be back next week on the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles, Peter Keene in Cocoa Beach, Florida, Jim Daniels. If we could ever get him off the road, he'll be back with us. But we'll have a grand weekend to report for you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care of each other. Respect each other.